Okay, so here's a sink full of Concord grapes that I harvested. Just rinsing them off, getting them ready to go. So we'll get them all rinsed up. Okay, so we got 20 pounds of grapes in here. I'm not going to use my feet. I'll use a potato masher instead. So I'm going to squish these down and then we'll add some water to them. Okay, as you can see, I got them pretty well broken up in here. We're going to heat these up. We're going to add a couple gallons of water to it. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now. Just add a couple gallons of water to it. And then we will heat that up. Okay, so we got that all heated up and fogging up on you guys, sorry. Got the wort chiller in there, as you can see. The tube's running over here to the sink. We got the water running to cool that down. So we'll get that cooled down. Okay, so I got my sanitized bucket here. And in here I've also got some sanitizer. And I've got a mesh bag here. We're going to put in there in the pot here, if I can find the opening. Stretch that bag over the top here. This will catch all the grape skins when we pour it in here. I just put some paper or some clothespins around the edge to hold the bag on so it don't fall in when you dump it in there. And then we're ready to dump it in. We want to keep the grape skins in here because they got tannins and stuff that we want in our wine. So for the first few days we'll leave the skins and stuff inside the bag in the fermenter. Okay, so now we've got our must cooled down. We're going to go ahead and dump it in here slowly. Let that mesh bag catch all of our grape skins. Okay, now that that's in there, we'll take these back off. And we'll tie this bag up. As you can see, it's going to hold all of our grape skins, and then we just have juice in the bucket. So we'll tie this up. Like I said, we'll keep this in the fermenter for the first few days while we ferment, probably the first week. We'll just float around in here. Okay, then we'll go on to the next steps. Okay, so I'm gonna add 3 cans, sorry, upside down. I'm going to add 3 cans of grape juice concentrate to this, just because I want to make sure I have enough fruit flavor. I topped it up to 6 gallons with water, because we're going to lose some volume when we take the skins out. So I went a little above what you normally would. So I'll add 3 cans of this grape juice in there, and then I'll be back. Okay. Now we're going to add 3 teaspoons of acid blend just to balance it out a little bit. 3 teaspoons of pectic enzyme. This will break down the fruit, help it clear. And we do a half a teaspoon per gallon of this. So we got 3 teaspoons in there. And then we're going to do a half a teaspoon of potassium metabisulfite. This will kill off any bad things in the must. And then we will stir that up and we'll cover it with a towel and let it sit for 24 hours, and then we'll come back and pitch the yeast. Okay, I've removed the bag. I forgot to add the sugar, so we need to add 10 pounds of sugar. We should have done this while it was on the stove, but we'll go ahead and put that in there now and mix it in. We're going to add 10 pounds of sugar to bring our SG up. So I'll stir that and then we'll do a hydrometer reading. So we've took a hydrometer reading. We're at 1.098, which is about 12.5% alcohol. We'll just leave it there, and because I like mine around 12-13%. So that's good enough, and we'll put the fruit back in and we'll cover it up and let it sit till tomorrow. Okay, so here we have the Concord grape wine after 24 hours. We're going to take our sanitized stirrer here and we're going to stir it up, kind of move the bag out of the way here, and we'll try and introduce some oxygen in here. Oxygen is good for the yeast at this point. Mix it up good. We'll slish our bag around here. And the same thing with this batch. On these two batches, I'm going to go ahead and pitch two different yeasts on them. I'm going to do one dry and one yeast starter, and both of them I believe are different yeasts. Nope, same yeast. We're just going to do one starter and one dry and see how the difference is. Okay, so here's the dry one. It's a Premier Classic. It's what they used to call Montrachet yeast. It's pretty good fruit wine yeast, so we'll go ahead and pitch this one over here. We'll just pitch it right on top. We're not going to stir it in or anything. Then, as you can see, we've got the same yeast here. I just made a starter out of it. It's been on the stir plate since yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and dump this in this one. Try not to put our stir bar in there. Okay, now it's time to cover them up. Okay, and then the last step is to add our sanitized lid with an airlock. I've got sanitizer in there. So we'll just put this on there and we'll let it ferment. Also, I like to put my card with my little notes on it so I know which wine is what. So I'll just hang that right over the airlock, and then this card will stay with the wine throughout the process, and we'll add notes to it as we go. Okay, so here's our Concord grape wine. It's been about 24 hours since we pitched the yeast. As you can see, it's the fruit starting to float, so we'll go ahead and punch that down. Starting to ferment. We'll do this every day for the first few days, and then we'll remove the fruit. Make sure anything that touches it will be sanitized, you know, from this point on. Okay. Okay, so here we are on day 3 of the Concord grape. Yesterday I just did the exact same thing I'm doing today. Just punched it down. As you can tell, it's fermenting away. We'll do this for a couple more days, and then we'll test the the gravity on it and see where we're at. That's pretty much it for today.